Hi guys, how's it going? Hope you are good. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at this little camera and this slightly bigger camera. So without further delay, let's get into it. Let's see a comparison between the Insta360 Go 2 and the One X2. So let's just start with the basic headline specifications of both cameras. We can see what the differences are there. Let's start with the Go 2 first. The Go 2 features a maximum video resolution of 2560 by 1440, and that's at 50, 30, 25 or 24 frames per second. It can also shoot HDR video, time-lapse video, time shifts and slow motion at 120 frames per second at 1080p. Photo resolution is 2560 by 1440. And you can also shoot photos in the DNG RAW format. One of the main features of the camera is obviously its tiny size, one of the smallest action cameras I think out ever. It weighs just 26.5 grams and is 52.9 millimeters tall by 23.6 millimeters wide. The latest version has a maximum storage of 64 gigabytes. Battery will last about 20 minutes on a full charge using the Pro Video mode. However, with the case that it comes with, it also works as an extra battery. You get around about 110 minutes. It features Insta360's flow state stabilization for keeping things super smooth. It's waterproof up to 4 meters. And also features a magnetic mount on the back here. Right, onto the Insta360 One X2. The maximum video resolution of this camera is 5.7K at 30 frames per second, also 25 and 24. You can go all the way down to 3K at 100 frames per second. You can also use Steadicam mode, which uses just one of the lenses. In that mode, the resolution is 2560 by 1440 at 50 or 30 frames per second. Photo resolution is 6080 by 3040, or using the panorama mode is 4320 by 1440. You can also shoot in DNG RAW mode too. Video modes include the standard mode, HDR, time-lapse, time shift, bullet time, and Steadicam. It also features that patented flow state stabilization. I'll show you the difference between the two in some comparisons later. The larger body features a full touch screen for manual control. It also has a much larger battery. It will last around about an hour of continuous filming. And like the Go 2, it is also waterproof, but up to 10 meters this time. Okay, so that's basically the headline specs. I know it's not really easy to tell just from numbers what the difference is because they are very different cameras. You can clearly tell the One X2 featuring higher video resolution, higher photo resolution, which you would expect because, well, look at the size. It's like 5 times the size of the Go 2. However, if we start looking at direct comparisons, you can see that the difference isn't as big as you would expect. Now, the reason for this is because even though the One X2 has a much higher video resolution, all of those pixels have to fill a 360-degree field of view. So therefore, those pixels are spread more thin. Whereas the Go 2 doesn't have to fill as much of a frame, so those pixels are therefore condensed closer together. Now, looking at these direct comparisons, I don't see a huge difference between the two. Sometimes I find even the Go 2 has slightly deeper colors, certainly a little bit more vivid in some situations. I think still the One X2 slightly beats it, maybe just in terms of overall quality. Maybe in terms of capturing the light better, it doesn't not so overblown, overexposed, probably because the lenses are going to be slightly larger in the One X2. So when it just comes to pure quality, I mean, the difference isn't massive, which did kind of shock me. I was looking to see which one would have better quality. I expected the One X2 to be a lot better, but really it's not. But with the One X2, you do get something with that. You are able to manipulate your video. It's capturing full 360 degrees. In these comparisons, I'm only showing you a little slither of the video that it's shooting. In post-production with the One X2, you can go and reframe your video. You can choose where the camera's pointing at any one time. An example right here. And yeah, you're capturing 360 degrees, whereas with the Go 2, you're only capturing basically what's in front of the camera. You can't do this manipulation, whereas with the One X2, doesn't matter where you point the camera because you can always edit it after you've shot. So that's basically the main difference, obviously, between the two. But yeah, for quality, I was quite impressed with the Go 2 considering its tiny size. The shots that I've shown you, though, are pretty basic shots. It was just for comparison. I mean, most shots you're going to be moving around much more, especially if you're like traveling or doing action shots, vlogging, that kind of stuff. You're going to want to be shooting more interesting stuff. You're probably going to be moving quite a lot. That's where the difference becomes a little bit more obvious. Now, both of these cameras have flow state stabilization, which is something that Insta360 kind of invented to make your camera super steady, almost like you're using a gimbal. Now here is me on a bike with both of these cameras attached to the bike. It's a fairly decent example of moving video and a challenge for both cameras. As you can see, the One X2 keeps it way steadier. You can basically lock on to directly in front of you and it's gonna stay there the whole time. It's because, once again, it's shooting in that 360 mode and it's able to use all of that information to keep everything super steady. The Go 2 doesn't do a bad job. For the size of the camera, it's doing okay, but it's not as good. If you move around a lot, if you go, if it's very bumpy, if you turn quickly, it's not gonna stabilize completely. It's gonna be bumpy. It's gonna be a little bit harder to watch. So for moving video, for action shots, the One X2 is definitely gonna stabilize better. But it's obviously much bigger and much clunkier. So you have to weigh up which one is gonna be more useful for you. They both feature similar video modes, despite being quite different cameras. You have time-lapse, time-shift. Time-shift is where you hold the camera steady and you walk around for, I guess, 10 minutes or so, and you create these kind of fast motion hyperlapse effects. With the One X2, it's easier to do that because of the stabilization. You don't have to keep it pointing in one direction, you just have to keep it still. Whereas with the Go 2, you have to hold the camera very steady and walk in a straight line to create the kind of effect I'm showing you here. But both have the mode, and it's one of my favorite things to shoot with either of these cameras. I will say with the One X2, you do also have the option of just using one camera or one lens. This is obviously dual lens. If you wanted to shoot just like a normal video, you could use just one lens. So this is kind of like two cameras in one, whereas with the Go 2, there's obviously only one lens. There is only one way to shoot. We can take a look at some photos as well. I mean, neither of these cameras are really designed purely for photography. It will just be like a little side thing. Your phone, your mobile phone, if you have like an iPhone or one of the latest phones, is probably going to do a much better job of shooting photos. What I will say is that the One X2 can obviously shoot 360 photos, which is a little bit different. Again, you can look around, you can create virtual tours, that kind of stuff. The Go 2 has a lower photo resolution, so I'm not particularly impressed with the photos that come out of the Go 2, but the automatic HDR mode for both cameras can create some decent stuff. If it's just for Instagram, then either one of these cameras is going to be fine. Now, the main difference between these two cameras is basically how you use them. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like, just look at them. Obviously, you're not going to use them the same way. Really, this is where the Go 2 does shine quite a lot. It's very unique. It's probably one of the most unique cameras I've ever owned. When you get the camera, it comes with lots of accessories in the box. I can show you some here. Lots of different mounts. This goes onto this can go onto a selfie stick. This one is something that you wear. Camera magnetically attaches, so you can put this under your shirt. Why don't I just show you? If you see my other videos, then you'll already know about this, but so look, it just like hovers there, so you can just film, vlog, whatever, go on your bike rides, do some action stuff, and it's it's magnetically attached, and the magnet is quite strong. So that's thanks to the magnet here at the back. Now that allows you to do loads of cool things. You can attach this anywhere that's metal, like outside, anywhere. And I've done that a few times, and it's allowed me to kind of sneakily shoot some stuff which would be harder otherwise. I can put it in places that the One X2 I just wouldn't be able to do without like some crazy different mounts, and then I would be worried that it's going to fall off. But as long as something is metal, this is not going to fall off. And yeah, all these accessories that come with it. I mean, this one clips onto a hat. I use that a few times, or I can clip on, I guess, to, again, your clothing, whatever, your bag. So it's just very easy to mount this anywhere. And you can create some really cool shots with that. I think it'd be great for B-roll, for traveling. It also comes with this really neat case. The camera basically lives in here. This is how you control the camera. This is a little screen, these little buttons. This allows you to kind of manually control a lot of the settings. It's a shutter. It's also a mount. So it's like a little tripod. You can mount it on a table or something and just decide how you want to film. It's very diverse. This is also a battery, so this gives it more battery. You can be very creative with how you film, like in the moment. That I think is one of the main advantage of this camera. Let me see, it's not going to fall out. The One X2, on the other hand, is not as easy to shoot with. In fact, I worry quite a lot when I shoot with this because the lenses are so vulnerable. If this falls on the ground, it's going to break like 90% of the time. It's obviously bigger. It does come with some accessories. Probably the main advantage of this camera is the invisible selfie stick that doesn't come with it, but that you can get for, I think, like $20 or $30 pounds. and that attaches here at the bottom, and that allows you to create the invisible selfie stick effect, which is basically like, it's almost like the camera's flying, it's almost like you have a drone following you, and I can show you what it looks like here. I mean, it's really, really, really cool effects that a lot of people get 360 cameras just for that effect. And that's not possible with the Go 2 because it's not a 360 camera, but that's the main advantage of the One X2, and also the fact it has a screen. You can control everything on the camera straight away, whereas you can't really control everything on the Go 2 with that little case. It does require you to manually connect to like the app or a phone to see everything. Talking of the app, that is also another very, very important thing. Both of these cameras use the Insta360 app to just where you can edit your video. It's where you can create some unique effects. The app has loads of built-in effects for the various Insta360 cameras. As you can see some examples here. The app is really cool. I've said this in a lot of my videos about this company. The app is the best thing about any camera that comes from Insta360. It has like an automatic editor that can basically edit all your videos, add music, add transitions, and will do a pretty good job of creating a full vlog in, I guess, 30 seconds that it takes to render. Or you can do it manually yourself. It's a very good editor for a phone, and it has all these different cool effects that some of them are gimmicky, some of them are really cool, but basically all in all the app is really awesome for either of these cameras. I will say there are slightly more effects and slightly more options for the Insta360 One X because it's a 360 camera. Again, there are just more things you can do with it, there are more options, there are more effects that work. And I guess the only other things to consider is things like waterproof, battery life, where when it comes to both of those, they're both technically waterproof. I would caution people to put the One X2 underwater for very long because while it is technically waterproof, I guess, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people complain that it's not, or like that the camera's breaks. I mean, it seems to be very touch and go whether it is waterproof or not. You have to be very careful that all of the little doors are closed and everything is sealed properly or it will break. I personally wouldn't risk it. The Go 2 on the other hand seems to be, I can't see how anything would get in. It's a fully sealed camera. There's no SD card slot or battery that you can take out. So I think the Go 2 would be more of a safe bet underwater. The battery life, well, the battery life on the Go 2 is one of the main downsides. It will only last 15 to 20 minutes of shooting, and then you need to either put it in this charger, which does last for another, I guess, hour and a half or so. The One X2 will last an hour of continuous shooting, and that's not awesome as well, but it's better. It's not going to run out. You're going to be able to shoot a continuous video for longer as well. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. I hope I've given you a decent comparison. When it comes to pure video quality, I really don't think there's that much difference. So if you are wondering if one was completely different than the other, honestly, when it comes to forgetting all of the specs, when it comes to looking at the video, I don't think there's that much different. What it comes down to is how you want to shoot and how creative you want to get. If you want to get creative when doing the actual shooting, as in like where you want to put the camera, how you want to shoot, what you want to attach it to, the accessories you can get, I think the Go 2 is the better option because there are so many different ways you can shoot with it. If you want like a B-roll camera and you don't want to take up much space in your luggage, yeah, take this along. It's not going to take up much space. Put it in this little case, which is where it lives anyway. So yeah, I think it would make an awesome B-roll camera for travel vlogging and for action shots and for anything that you're going to want to put on Instagram or TikTok. It's definitely good enough quality for that. If you'd prefer to get creative in post-production with all the editing options and reframing and all that kind of stuff, then I think the One X2 is going to be more your style. Or if you're particularly interested in 360, like virtual tours, viewing them back on a VR headset, that kind of stuff. Or if you want the best stabilization, if you're going for really intense action shots and you want it to be super, super stable, then the One X2 is going to be for you. If I had to buy just one, then I would still stick with the One X2 because it offers a lot more for me because I like editing. So yeah, guys, I hope that has been helpful. If you are wondering kind of what the difference between the two was and like how you can use them and the different options, I hope that's helped. Yeah, so I'll be using both these cameras in the coming months, so stay tuned. I'll do some tutorials on how you can do the different effects and get the best quality out of them. So if you're into that, then feel free to subscribe and like the video, and yeah, I'll get back to you soon. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye.